All right, so in today's video, we're going to take a look at stocks as far as are they overbought? We've been moving up for quite a handful of weeks now, and I want to share some insight on some of the tickers that are moving today. So today we've got a little bit of a mixed day where they're kind of digesting. Think of it like going to a restaurant, like a buffet, and you ate a whole bunch, and now you've got to digest this and it's time for a pause. Wait, you don't need to keep eating. So the same thing here is that when markets move up quite a bit, you get to a point where you are slightly overbought, maybe not for the longer term picture, meaning for multiple months, but maybe for the short term. For the short term, there could be a couple of down days. So that's kind of what I'm looking at is when I start evaluating what's going on and what's happening in the marketplace, we are slightly, I would say, overbought. So when you look at the overbought conditions, I'm talking about just looking at the total market has just been running 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, almost 7 green weeks in a row. And that's pretty significant. You don't usually see that. Now you might say, oh, well, look at all these green bars right here. Well, the thing with these green bars is this is color coded when it's above the moving average and continues to move up. If I look at just the standard EMA here, you can see we usually don't have that many green bars in a row compared to this cluster. Yeah, you got a little bit here, but there's still a couple of red weeks in there. Even over here, when you get some good movement, there's only like 2 in a row with a little bit of a redness in there. So my point being is that we could be slightly overbought, and this becomes a little bit of a concern where you gotta stay realistic and also be patient in the marketplace. So looking at a couple of tickers here, what I want to do is just show you just what's going on and what's happening with the projection of, let's say, Microsoft. As we pull this one up, today it is down about $5 or so, 5.72. But when we look at it from a longer term perspective, I mean, from a weekly basis, we're still heading higher. It still looks fine. It looks okay. In the same way that in the past here, we were trending up, we pulled back, and then we continue to trend up. So we pull back, we trend higher. So I think we could get a little bit of a trend or pullback, and then we could continue to push higher. But you need to weather the storm, and you have to stay patient to be able to handle these types of movements. Because if you're starting to get freaked out on this, if you're day trading, okay, it makes sense. Yeah, we could have some redness and some little bit of a panic kind of mode. But if you're looking at it from a longer term perspective, multiple weeks or holding options or doing those kinds of trades, then this is kind of normal. It's healthy. A little pullback is to be expected. So with Microsoft right there, that's just kind of normal. So let's take a look at some of the Microsoft data points here. If we look at Apple, Amazon, Google, they're all red. IBM is one of the few that's actually pushing into the green. Otherwise, Microsoft, Apple, look at Apple down 3.75. So that's kind of a little bit of a redness is coming into play. If we look at Nvidia here, and you can see the chips, AMD is actually pressing higher, Intel also pressing higher, Broadcom, Qualcomm, all these are actually green. So in this sector, it's a little bit more of a green cluster with the exception of Nvidia. And this is the same thing here. If we pull up the chart and we look at the Nvidia chart, we've got a little bit of a pullback right now. And if we look at the daily, it's to be expected. We've been going back up to this 500 level where we are rejecting it recently over multiple months, and it's pulling back. And we could get a little bit of a flag pattern here. So we're pulling back. Here's how this works. We go down, we're pulling back up a little bit, and then we could ride back down, and that could get us back into about a 420. How do I do that move? Well, you measure the move from this move down, and that's about a 55-point move. And then from here, as we powered higher, we go down about 55 points, and that'll get us to about that 420, which is similar to where this gap was, or gap area. There's some solid support in Nvidia around the 400 price point. We'll see if we get there or not. Otherwise, the stock's been good, strong, healthy, and so on. But right now, the market just in general has been bought up quite a bit. If we take a look at also another big boy here, Tesla, also been kind of moving sideways when we really look at this one. Just recently, just kind of digesting sideways. So there's not a lot of action, movement, or trend to the upside or the downside. It's just trending sideways. And taking a look at just a bunch of companies related to Tesla here, we've got General Motors, Carvana, and then again, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, AMD, all the other tech companies. But Tesla's down about $3.14 for the moment. So not looking too good for the day, but overall, you're still just really going sideways here in this company. So it stalled out a little bit. One of the other ones that caught kind of my eye, I'll show you, is this one, Netflix. Netflix is popping quite nicely. If we look at the daily, the stock pressed well to the upside. We got this little rollover effect, and now we're pushing again a little bit to the higher end point. So today it started to make that move. We jumped, gapped up about $9, and then we continue to move higher. So I like that movement. And if you look at the weekly chart, the weekly has been in a very strong channel to this upside level. I'm not sure as far as resistance goes if you're getting into this upper level, and you might start to get into some overhead supply, because what happens is people over here that were bought in way at these points, they're happy to exit. They're like, yay, I get to make some money. So yay, they were like, oh, okay, well, that's good. And then the people that bought over here, they're also happy to exit. So you've got, sellers coming in from both ends, and that could create some selling pressure. So be careful. You would always want to take some profits in the strength when you see a movement like this, but because you've got both ends coming in from here and coming in from here, trying to dump the stock. So that's where some of the selling pressure could come in right there, and that's what happened. But then you've got other people that'll buy it right back. So right now it's still holding up and doing well from a strength basis, but I would say be a little bit more mindful, because this stock has moved up quite a bit. All right, I'm going to show you, let's see, one more, I think, that's kind of catching my eye at this exact moment. See if we have it. DocuSign. And we'll pull this up on the daily here. What I like about this is we've got a break. We had earnings, and man, this thing's kind of moving really well. Volume picking up as well. So that volume is doing really, really well. So I would say, hey, when you're looking at this, it's powering well. And I say it could be a nice buying opportunity in that sense, especially if you're looking at it on longer term. If you look at the weekly, we're just starting to now kind of turn around. Here's just the support at this level, and it's starting to move. I still think that you've got some overhead supply and some resistance and sideways problems that could happen, but at least for the shorter term, it is looking good and healthy. So anyway, something to keep an eye on. Anyways, hope that helps. Truly appreciate you guys sticking with me, all the comments, the fellowships, and by all means, feel free to grab some freebies there at trading webinars. There's some good free webinars on there, PDFs and other cheat sheets to download. Anyways, thanks again, and I will see you next time. Take care.